Today we will discuss pulse code modulation or PCM. Pulse code modulation is the basics of digital communication system. Whenever we try to send some information, analog information through digital system, we have to convert this analog signal into digital signal. And PCM is the way through which we can do this job. So first we take the samples of this digital signal, of this analog signal, and then we convert it into equivalent digital form so that we can recover it back into analog signal again during the reception time. This is the basic block diagram of a PCM transmitter receiver system. Here the input signal is the analog signal. First, this analog signal is passed through a low pass filter. We have already seen that to avoid any aliasing we must pass it through a low pass filter, so it is also an anti-aliasing filter. So now we have band limited signal which is analog in nature. Next, these three blocks are the PCM transmitter block. The first one is the sampling and hold circuit. Second one is the quantizer with number of levels, say L. And third one is the encoder. So this is the three blocks. These three blocks constitutes a PCM transmitter. So first, this band limited signal, analog signal, is transferred to sampler. Sampler will produce the samples of this analog signal. That means it will discretize this signal. So here we have continuous analog signal, here we have the discrete analog signal. These discrete signals are now digitized with the help of quantizer. So at the output of this quantizer we will get, since the number of levels is L, so here we have the digital signal with L number of levels, and we call it as L array. So output of this quantizer is L array digital signal. Now this L array digital signal is passed through an encoder that will convert it into digital binary signal. So output of the encoder is binary and input is L array. So encoder is basically converting this L array digital signal into equivalent binary digital signal. Then this binary signal is passed through this is the PCM signal, is passed through the channel may be telephone channel or whatever may be. Now in the channel we have number of regenerative repeaters. We will discuss regenerative repeaters later on. So it will regenerate these PCM signals after certain period of, periodically it will regenerate the original pulses. After passing a long distance of channel, we have the PCM receiver. PCM receiver block consists of two functional blocks. One is the decoder and another is the low pass filter. So basic operation of this PCM transmitter is the analog to digital converter, and basic operation of the PCM receiver is digital to analog converter. Decoder will generate binary signal into L array signal again, just opposite to that. So here we have the L array quantized signal, or rather we can call it as L array PAM, pulse amplitude modulated signal. It is quantized PAM, and this PAM is passed through a low pass filter, and this low pass filter will eliminate the high frequency components, and we will get the analog output signal. So this is the basic block diagram of the PCM system. So let us now try to understand the quantizer. To understand the function of quantizer, just consider that we have this signal, this is the signal, and we have taken the samples of these signals. Now when we pass these samples through the quantizer will say input signal span is minus MP to plus MP. Now quantizer will divide this whole range of plus MP to minus MP, this whole range, into say L number of sublevels. So each sublevel, each of width twice MP by L. So this is the width of each sublevel. So we have divided this whole range into number of sublevels. Now when one sample lies within a particular sublevel, the original voltage value is say this V1. But what quantizer will do, quantizer will allow the voltage level of the midpoint of this sublevel. That means the original identity of this sample will be lost. That means the V1 voltage will no more. It will assign the midpoint value, say V dash, of this level. Now if the sample lies in the other level, that other level will assign another voltage value which is the midpoint of that particular level. That means the original identity of the samples will be lost. So instead of having a voltage of V1, all the samples within this, falling within this sublevel, will be assigned the voltage of say V dash. Now why the midpoint value? Because the midpoint value will minimize the amount of error. As you can see, if the original signal was at voltage V1 and we are assigning a voltage say V dash, then obviously this is the amount of error. The distance between these two voltages is the amount of error. Now if we have if we have given the upper voltage or lower voltage, then the amount of error would be delta V, plus minus delta V. But if we assign the midpoint value V dash of a particular sublevel, then the amount of error will be delta V by 2. So this is the minimum value, delta V by 2. So error will be minimum. Delta V by 2 is the minimum amount of error, and that is possible if we give, or if we allow, V dash or midpoint value of the voltage of the level, or if we assign the midpoint voltage level for the samples. So this is the job done by the quantizer. So all the voltage, all the samples lying within a particular level will have identical voltage value. So this is the job of the quantizer. Now here we have when we have to recover, ultimately we have to recover the original message signal, and during this recovery process we may have two type of errors. One is the quantization error, another is the pulse detection error, but here we will consider only the quantization error. So quantization error and corresponding noise. So we must have some idea about the quantization error and corresponding noise. Suppose M is the original message signal, say function of time, that is recovered. Now what we do, we take the sample of M, then quantize it, and then recover it back to the analog signal. That message signal becomes M cap t. So MT was the original message, and M cap t is the message recovered from its quantized samples. The difference between these two is the amount of distortion present in the signal. This is the quantization error. Now the second moment of this quantization error will give us the quantization noise. So to determine it, let us proceed in this manner. Just consider one sub-level. This is the midpoint voltage, and we have already said that